Hello folks, welcome to another video of D-Day Fishing World. Lately I've been getting a lot of message from Facebook and YouTube comment asking me how to do the walleye run and how is the walleye run work. I've been making a lot of video about Maumee River walleye run, how the gear set up and some tips here and there in the video. But today I'm gonna go in depth on some of the issues people are struggling the most. One thing people asking me the most is how can you tell from between a fish bite and the snag hang up on the bottom of the river. Before I go explain to this, one thing I have to let you know that walleye come from the Lake Erie into Maumee River or Sandusky River. They are not there to feed. They have only one purpose in their mind. One thing in their mind is to go there and spawn. So the bite in the Maumee River simply is they are trying to kill anything that around the nest where they lay the eggs. Try to kill them to protect the young. Protecting by preventing those whatever the creatures nearby the nest to eat the eggs or to eat the fry when the eggs hatch. So simply is that. Okay, here's how it worked. Okay, you got your following jigs and your grub tail, tie on a mono or fluorocarbon line, and your leader line, tie on a inline sinker, and followed by that main line, usually a braid. So when you cast out your jigs and into the river flow will carry your jigs and your sinker downstream. So when your jigs float nearby a fish, when the fish create a strike, will hold on the jigs because they are spawning. They pretty much, after they bite, they'll be stay in a similar area, close area, pretty much stationary. So they will not move that much. But at the same time, your sinker, okay, it's not held by a fish, which is will travel down. Okay, travel down, become like this. All right, so the jig will become upstream, your sinker will become downstream. Okay, what you will feel this time, because the sinker will not move anymore since the fish don't move, so you don't feel those bouncing the bottom. Okay, what you feel is like snag. Okay, which is that exactly same thing as a snag. If you cast it out snag, your jig or your sinker is stuck at one place, if you will feel exactly the same. Okay, I shouldn't say exactly the same, but it'll be slightly different. Okay, but basically it is the same. All right, that's why you don't directly feel the bite of the Maumee River walleye bite. Okay, because of this, you have two things. One is jig, one is your sinker. When the fish bite, they hold it right there, but at the same time, your jig still travel. Your sinker still travel downstream, so there's no bite for you to feel. Okay, all you feel is hang up. That's it. So how can you different the hang up and the fish bite? All right. So when you have a fish bite, okay, when the fish hold there, and the sinker is travel downstream, usually that that feeling is like somewhat softer. Okay, if you have a hang up or snap at the bottom, that feeling is more stiff. So pretty much when you go up down there and fishing, all right, you have to set up anything you feel different than bouncing down the river. All right, if you don't feel the bound, set the hook. If you feeling something hang up, set the hook. So by doing more of this, you eventually will get to know which one more likely gonna be a bite, which one is more likely gonna be a snap. All right, but will never be 100%. All right, even me, I fish at the Maumee River since 1997. Until this day, I still know 100% sure, but I know most of the time it's a fish strike, and most of the time it's snap on the bottom. You have to just to fish more and to figure out yourself. Okay, the third thing people asking me is how much of leader line I use, what's the length. All right, when I first doing this, when I first switching from a flathead jig to a Carolina rig like today we use, okay, that's probably 15-20 years ago. I couldn't remember which year I switched over. Back then when we first began, most of the people use 12 to 18 foot, 12 to 18 inches, sometimes up to 24 inches line, very very short like this. All right, but as the year go by, people keep using longer and longer and longer of leader. Nowadays I use mostly is 4 to 6 foot of leader. All right, but I seen people use 7, 8, 9, sometimes 10 foot of leader. Okay, I think the 10 foot is unnecessary. 6 foot is about 6 to 7 foot about the max to use. So, but why we using long leader? All right, for most people understand is when you have short leader, your sinker is at the bottom, your jig is float not so high because the leader length. All right, and when you use a longer leader, so your jig will allow your jig to float much higher, which is to catch the fish. But this is just general understanding. But for my understand, all right, when you have a shorter leader length, okay, because the river current is carrying your jig along, so by you having a shorter length, your jig will float around the smaller, tighter area, like swing back and forth, flow up and down. Okay, that area is very tight, so creating a strike zone for the fish is very very small. All right, just like that. When you have a short leader, let's get a different one, because your jig is swinging back and forth and up and down from a point. This where you tie your leader, and you only have small strike zone like this. Let's say this for 2 foot of the leader. All right, your striking zone is so much this big. Okay, your jig basically swing back and forth within that zone and up and down within that circle zone. Okay, but when you're using a longer leader, because the river flow, so your jig will swing back and forth a wider range, up and down, same thing. So when you're using 4 foot of leader, all right, that's where you tie on your jig, and your striking zone double of the size. All right, put it right here. Double of the size. Swing back and forth, and up and down. So what this happen is when your jig is circling, I mean back and forth, up and down in a smaller area, travel down the stream. Okay, you don't cover as much area for the fish to strike. Like I said earlier, the fish is pretty much stationary in smaller area. So how far your jigs will cover will create I mean the higher your jig cover, you will have more striking from the fish. So by 2 foot you want to have this much. If you have 4 foot of leader, you have this much. All right, so you increase a lot of chance for fish to strike. That's why we're using a longer and longer leader. So but if you use too much of leader, too long of leader, it's just so difficult to cast. That's how I understand the leader. How long of the leader should I use? Okay, those three are the most asked question on my Facebook page and YouTube channel. You know, here's I throwing another one. When you're out on the river, all right, get a hook sharpener in your pocket. All right, what happened is a lot of time your jigs is hang up at the bottom. After hang up, the point of your jig becomes dull. So you want to use your filer, check your hook, and file, make it your hook sharp, more sharp again. So that will increase your hookup ratio. What happens if you forgot to bring one of those, or you didn't have one of those? Simply, it's easy. When you go down to the river, before you walk into the water, grab a river rod. Okay, put in your pocket. We'll do the same thing. Might not be as good, but we'll do the same tricks. We'll strap up your jig, your hook. So by doing this, you will lose less fish. Okay, this is, I don't see a lot of people doing this. All right, that's it for today's, folks. Hopefully those tips would help you, especially for the people who are just starting the Maumee River run, or for those people who are fish a long time. Maybe it'll give you a fresh idea how to understand the Maumee Walleye run. All right, this is it. We'll see you on the next video.